January 4, 2024, News Report 1. With only 9 days left until the Taiwan presidential election, mainland China has conducted gray zone operations around Taiwan, utilizing both military and non-military means for intimidation and coercion. These actions involve various equipment such as fighter jets, warships, and tugboats. According to Taiwan's Ministry of National Defense, on January 3, 3 Chinese mainland balloons were discovered flying over the Taiwan Strait median line, with 2 over the southwest of Penghu and 1 over the northwest of Hsinchu. The balloons' flight altitudes ranged from 4,570 meters to 10,000 meters, heading northeast. One balloon crossed over Taiwanese airspace, passing through Air Force bases in Taichung, Jiayi, Tainan, and Hualien. Simultaneously, on January 3, 6 PLA fighter jets and 6 warships were active in the Taiwan Strait vicinity, with 1 jet crossing the Taiwan Strait median line. However, the frequency of PLA jets harassing Taiwan has noticeably decreased, while the number of balloons has increased, possibly to reduce the threat posed by jets and avoid more international criticism. This suggests that the PLA might be using balloons to express its intervention intentions while avoiding excessive attention. On the other hand, Taiwan has strengthened monitoring of Chinese infiltration. On January 4, the Military Intelligence Bureau arrested Colonel Jiang Fangyu, Colonel Su Xingming, and Colonel Su Zhixin from the Mainland Affairs Research Office on charges of lying to superiors, forging intelligence, and embezzling 11.3 million new Taiwan dollars. This event revealed the role of intelligence agencies in disrupting activities. Additionally, the Taiwan Immigration Agency stated that Chinese journalists could only observe during the election and were not allowed to report. Taiwan's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Wu Zhaoxia, mentioned that Taiwan is taking measures to counter Chinese interference and will release a detailed analysis report after the elections. News Report 2. Credit rating agencies have announced a downgrade of China's 4 major state-owned asset management companies. Specifically, Cinda and Orient's ratings have been downgraded from A to A-, while Huarong and Great Wall have been upgraded from 1B to 3Bs. Importantly, after the downgrade, Cinda's rating outlook has been confirmed as stable, while the other 3 have a negative outlook. Fitch Ratings stated that the financial performance of these 4 state-owned asset management companies is poor, coupled with capital constraints, resulting in inconsistent and sustained support from the Chinese government. These factors may limit their ability to purchase bad assets. Moody's, another rating agency, had already adjusted China's rating to negative in December and listed Cinda and Orient Asset Management on the downgrade watch list. Moody's also downgraded the ratings of 8 major banks, reflecting concerns about China's economic outlook. This marks the second downgrade of Chinese financial institutions by rating agencies, prompting widespread attention to China's economic situation. We will continue to monitor related developments and provide timely updates. News Report 3. Anhua's CNN Evening News reported that around 2 p.m. on January 3, a mortar attack occurred in Nanshan Town, Zhenkang County, Yunnan Province, injuring 5 local residents. A video on Douyin, Chinese TikTok, showed injured people lying on the ground with bloodstains on their clothes, and debris scattered on the street. The propaganda department of Zhenkang County confirmed that citizens were indeed injured by mortar fire and had been sent to the hospital for treatment. Regarding the source of the mortar and the details of the injuries, officials stated that an official announcement is awaited. Zhenkang County is located in the western part of Yunnan, bordering Myanmar's Kokang. Kokang experienced local armed attacks against the government forces in October last year, and the conflict continues. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Wang Wenbin expressed on January 4 that China highly concerns the situation in northern Myanmar and strongly condemns the injuries to Chinese citizens in the conflict. However, he emphasized that the Chinese Foreign Ministry only expressed dissatisfaction and did not address life and death issues. Wang stated that China has made solemn representations to relevant parties. News Report 4. CCTV reported that China's State Post Bureau, Emergency Management Department, and Ministry of Public Security recently held joint talks with three express delivery companies, Yuantong, Yunda, and JD. The reason for the talks was that these three express delivery companies were accused of transporting fireworks. Individuals ordered fireworks through these express delivery companies, revealing a lack of strict implementation of real name acceptance, inspection, and machine security checks. The talks required the three express delivery companies to strengthen safety inspections. The report highlighted that the Communist Party has taken measures against these private enterprises, requiring express delivery companies to enhance safety inspections of fireworks to ensure social security. Some netizens suggested establishing a secret police force, with the core function of safeguarding the party's interests and comprehensively monitoring the infiltration of hostile forces. On social media, the news of the talks with Yuantong, Yunda, and JD became a hot topic. Some netizens expressed concerns, believing that the government's actions against private enterprises might have a negative impact on China's economy. Others thought that the government's measures were for comprehensive control of social security, while some criticized the CCP for excessive interference in private enterprises. News Report 5. The US dollar index rose above 102.5 on January 4, signaling a strengthening of the US dollar, leading to a decline in the RMB exchange rate. In intraday trading, the RMB against the US dollar reached a minimum of 7.1596, closing at 7.1520 renminbi per US dollar, a decrease of 86 basis points. Offshore RMB fell below 7.16 during the Asian session, reaching a low of 7.1681. At 10:45 a.m. Eastern Time, the People's Bank of China announced the central parity rate as 7.0997, appreciating by 5 basis points from the previous day. The Federal Reserve meeting minutes indicated that U.S. interest rates are expected to return to an appropriate level by the end of this year, causing the U.S. dollar index to rise for 5 consecutive days. Meanwhile, the yield on 10-year government bonds has risen to 4%. Market traders believe that the market is uncertain about the RMB's trend and may need to wait for the restoration of market confidence to determine the RMB's direction. The People's Bank of China's sudden interventions, sometimes easing and sometimes tightening, have also contributed to the hesitancy in the RMB's trend. The future direction of the RMB remains uncertain, requiring close attention to international economic and financial developments, as well as policy changes by the People's Bank of China. We will continue to track relevant information and provide you with the latest updates. News Report 6. Several U.S. states, including California, Illinois, Massachusetts, and New York, have recently reinstated mask mandates. Additionally, medical and health institutions in New York stipulate that healthcare personnel and patients must wear masks, enforcing the mask mandate. On January 3, New York City's Health Department Commissioner Vasanth expressed that a shortage of hospital staff is the least desirable situation, emphasizing the importance of wearing masks to prevent virus spread. According to the latest data from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, in the week ending from December 17 to 23, the U.S. saw 29,000 hospitalizations due to confirmed COVID-19, a 16% increase from the previous week. During the same period, hospitalizations for influenza numbered 14,700. This marks the latest measure by several U.S. states to curb the virus's spread since the outbreak. We will continue to monitor related developments and provide you with the latest updates. News Report 7. The New York Times reported that Iran's Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei has ordered the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps not to attack U.S. troops in Syria and Iraq in the coming days. Khamenei emphasized that Iran must avoid direct military conflict with the United States at any cost. January 3 marked the 4th anniversary of the death of Iranian Revolutionary Guard Commander Qasem Soleimani, killed by the U.S. military. On that day, over 1,000 Iranian citizens visited Soleimani's tomb for commemoration. However, 2 explosion incidents occurred, resulting in 95 deaths and 211 injuries. The responsible parties for this incident have yet to be determined. On January 3, Khamenei issued a statement attributing the attacks to enemies but did not specify. Despite Khamenei's outward emphasis on retaliation, in communication with his supporters, he mentioned not to touch U.S. troops, as any contact would lead to bombings. This reflects the cautious stance of the Iranian leadership in safeguarding national security and avoiding direct military conflict with the United States. News Report 8. The South Korean Ministry of Foreign Affairs announced that the first Indo-Pacific dialogue among South Korea, the United States, and Japan will be held in the United States on January 5. This dialogue is considered a crucial meeting. Assistant Foreign Minister for South Korea, Jong Byung-yoon, will attend along with U.S. Assistant Secretary of State for East Asian and Pacific Affairs Kang Ta and Japanese Ministry of Foreign Affairs Policy Bureau Director Kawabata Kenhiro. During the meeting, the three countries will discuss better cooperation to implement their respective Indo-Pacific strategies. In August of the previous year, leaders of South Korea, the U.S., and Japan agreed at the Davos summit to establish an Indo-Pacific dialogue mechanism, convening once a year to coordinate their Indo-Pacific diplomacy and explore joint actions in new areas. Simultaneously, on January 4, the South Korean Army issued a statement, announcing that South Korea and the U.S. had conducted a live-fire exercise in the border area near North Korea. The exercise involved more than 110 large weapons, primarily including tanks, anti-aircraft guns, and combat bulldozers. The exercise started on December 29 of the previous year and concluded on January 4, aiming to simulate an enemy invasion, test, and enhance the military's readiness. This move is seen as a response to North Korea's recent frequent testing of long-range ballistic missiles, demonstrating strategic deterrence and showcasing close cooperation between the U.S. and South Korea on regional security issues. We will continue to monitor the developments in this regard. News Report 9. Data released by the Hong Kong Land Registry reveals that there were 43,000 residential transactions in Hong Kong last year, with a transaction amount of 389.2 billion Hong Kong dollars, a 4.5% year-on-year decrease. This transaction volume is the lowest since 1996, while the transaction amount is the lowest in 13 years. Citibank predicts a 10% decline in Hong Kong property prices this year. HSBC states that Hong Kong property prices may decline by 5% in the first half of this year, with a subsequent stabilization following the Fed's interest rate cuts. On January 4, the Hong Kong Development Bureau stated that the Hong Kong real estate market is sluggish, and in the first quarter of this year, it will not auction residential and commercial land, only industrial land. Developers can change the land use and build 3,570 new residential units on this industrial land. The Hong Kong land market performed poorly last year, with only 2 plots sold, and the Hong Kong government's land sales revenue was 12.1 billion Hong Kong dollars, achieving only 14% of the fiscal budget target. News Report 10. In a recent interview with a Japanese magazine, Joshua Wong, the Secretary-General of Demosisto in Hong Kong, disclosed that despite his relocation to Canada, the Hong Kong Police National Security Bureau persists in contacting him. They have inquired about his associations with democratic figures. Wong, who declared on December 3 of the previous year that he had embarked on a master's degree in Toronto, renouncing bail and choosing exile overseas, underwent a rigorous 6-hour questioning process when applying for studies in Hong Kong. The questioning delved into his family, friends, and work, accompanied by a request to draft a letter of repentance. Feeling uneasy, Wong refrained from revealing details about his university to avoid potential tracking. The National Security Police messaged him twice, inquiring about his safety and possible contact with yellow ribbons, referring to democratic figures. Wong expressed a desire to go to Japan but stated that he would remain in Canada until ensuring safety and freedom. On January 4, The West Kowloon Magistrates Court in Hong Kong resumed the trial of Jimmy Lai, the founder of Apple Daily, under the national security law. The prosecution presented purported evidence against Lai, accusing him of violating the Hong Kong national security law. The evidence includes Lai's endorsements on columns and Twitter supporting the United States implementation of the Hong Kong Safe Harbor Act and the Hong Kong People's Freedom and Choice Act. Additionally, the prosecution claimed that Jimmy Lai advanced 5 million Hong Kong dollars to the Epoch Media Group for publishing advertisements in various foreign media outlets, endorsing foreign sanctions against Hong Kong.